Gracie asked me to read a chapter of The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson with David and Heather Kopp. We're going to skip the preference and go right into part 1. Not long ago and not far away, a nobody named Ordinary lived in the land of familiar. Every day was pretty much the same for Ordinary. In the mornings he got up and went to his usual job. After work he ate almost the same dinner he had eaten the evening before. Then he sat in his recliner and watched the box that mesmerized most nobodies on most nights. Sometimes best friends came over to join Ordinary in front of the box. Sometimes Ordinary went to his parents and they watched together. For the most part, not much happened in Familiar that hadn't happened before. Ordinary thought he was content. He found the routines reliable. He blended in with the crowd, and mostly he wanted only what he had. Until the day Ordinary noticed a small, nagging feeling that something big was missing from his life. Or maybe the feeling was that he was missing from something big. He wasn't sure. The little feelings grew, and even though nobody in Familiar didn't generally expect the unexpected, Ordinary began to wish for it. Time passed. Then one morning, Ordinary woke up with those words echoing in his mind. What you are missing, you already have. Could it be? Ordinary looked and looked, and then he discovered that in a small corner of his heart lay a big dream. The big dream told him that he, a nobody, was made to be a somebody and destined to achieve great things. Jumping out of bed, Ordinary discovered something else. A long, white feather resting on the sill of his window. Where did it come from? What did it mean? With a jolt of excitement, Ordinary decided he'd been visited by the Dream Giver. Now, Ordinary had heard rumors of various nobodies and Familiar waking up to a big dream, but he had never imagined that it could happen to him. He rushed to get dressed, his big dreams beating brightly in his chest. He couldn't wait to get his usual job and tell the best friends the news. But on his way to work, Ordinary realized he had a problem. His big dream was too big for a nobody like Ordinary. He would be embarrassed to tell anyone. Even best friend would probably laugh. Still, Ordinary was too excited to keep his dream to himself. As soon as he saw best friend, he blurted out the news. The Dream Giver gave me a big dream. I was made to be a somebody and destined to achieve great things. Best friend looked surprised, but he didn't laugh. That's very big, he said. But if I were you, I wouldn't talk about this dream as yours too much. Nobody around here might take you for a fool. Ordinary didn't want to look like a fool, so after that he kept his big dream to himself. Day after day, Ordinary showed up the usual job. But while he worked, he thought about his dream. He thought about how wonderful it would be to do what he loved to do instead of just dreaming about it. Ordinary's longing for his big dream grew and grew until finally he realized he'd never been happy unless he could pursue it. Why didn't the Dream Giver make it possible? If the Dream Giver didn't, how could Ordinary ever leave Familiar? He had payments and expenses. He had regular duties. A lot of nobodies counted on him for a lot of things. Ordinary felt completely stuck. Time passed, but nothing changed. He began to hate his usual job. This isn't what I was made to do, he said to himself. I just know it. After a while, he began to worry that maybe he just hadn't received the big dream after all. Maybe he'd just made it all up. And he grew sadder by the day. One evening after work, Ordinary went to his parents to watch the box. But their box was broken, so the house was very quiet. It was even more quiet because their mother was out shopping at Familiar Foods. In the quietness, Ordinary started to think about his dream again. He looked over at his father sitting in his recliner, staring at the single page of Nobody's News. Maybe he could help. Father, said Ordinary, I'm growing sadder by the day. I don't like my usual job anymore. In fact, I think I hate it. Father looked up. That's terrible, he said. What happened? Before he could stop himself, Ordinary started talking about the Dream Giver and about his big dream. I was made to be a somebody and achieve great things, he said, and then he told his father the name of his dream. As he spoke, his voice trembled. He was sure that his father would laugh or call him a fool. But his father didn't. I'm not surprised to hear you say these things, he said. You're not, said Ordinary. No, his father said. You've had that dream ever since you were little. Don't you remember? You used to build that same dream with sticks and mud in front of the very house. Then Ordinary did remember. He'd always had this dream. It was what he'd always wanted to do and what he'd always thought he'd be doing good at. His eyes filled with tears. Father, he said, I think I was born to do this. Ordinary and his father sat together quietly. His father seemed to be remembering something, too. After a while, he asked, when you woke up to your big dream, son, did you happen to find a feather? Ordinary was shocked. How did you know? He asked. A long time ago, I woke up to a dream